A single confession shattered decades of silence. At 62, Julian Lennon stunned the world with just a handful of words. But behind those words lies a story messy enough to shock even the most devoted fans. A story about family, betrayal, fame, and survival. One that makes you question everything you thought you knew about rock royalty. What could drive the son of a legendary musician to carry a grudge for a lifetime? Today, you'll glimpse a side of Julian Lennon no tabloid ever printed, a truth he has guarded fiercely until now. Long before he became the world's pitied son, Julian was just a boy living in the shadow of greatness, craving something ordinary. From the outside, his childhood sparkled with glamour, all because of a famous last name. You walk into security and they hand you a sticker that reads John Lennon. But inside the Lennon house, happiness was a stranger. The day John Lennon walked out, it was for someone new, leaving Julian and his mother Cynthia behind. He didn't just lose a father, he lost a sense of safety. No goodbye, no explanation, just silence and confusion. Cynthia held the pieces together, working tirelessly, even selling family treasures just to keep food on the table. Fairy tales don't last forever. While outsiders imagined mansions and endless luxury, reality was a cold, flat, second-hand clothes and uncertainty. And perhaps the only silver lining was the very existence of Julian himself, proof that something beautiful had come from that turbulent life. Fame brought no comfort, only questions he couldn't answer. At school, Julian became a target. Kids saw the name and assumed he had everything, but he felt empty and isolated. They taunted him, bullied him, even sometimes hit him. Teachers rarely intervened, assuming he was too privileged to need protection. And that loneliness? It cuts deep, leaving scars invisible to the world. His mother was his only shield. Her sacrifices formed a fragile wall against a world that seemed determined to break him. Julian learned early, legends matter only to outsiders. Inside, the cost is loneliness, not admiration. Yet Julian held it together, refusing to show the world his pain. The foundation of his story wasn't fame, it was survival. Growing up, he was haunted by a father celebrated for peace and love, but who showed little of either at home. A man he barely knew. It stung even more to watch John lavish love on Sean, his younger half-brother. Headlines called him a devoted parent, but Julian saw hypocrisy. People heard John's music and thought of hope and unity, but Julian felt rejection and anger. Rumors swirled about his birth. John allegedly called him a mistake, while Sean was born out of love. Even if exaggerated, the wounds ran deep, a daily reminder that he was different, unwanted. Cynthia tried to fill the gaps, but the pain lingered. Everywhere he looked, John Lennon's public image loomed. Posters, songs, documentaries, all reminders of the father who had walked away. As Julian grew, so did the bitterness, shaping the man he would become. His relationship with his father was always strained. After the divorce, contact was rare, awkward, sometimes a forced phone call, an uncomfortable meeting, but nothing real, nothing healing. John poured love into Sean, making the world see him as a doting father. But for Julian, no effort came. He watched from afar, desperate to believe he mattered, but always feeling like an outsider. Moments of hope flickered and died. Here a guitar, there a kind word, but then nothing. Julian longed for a real connection, a father's guidance, but those hopes were always dashed. The sense of rejection, the unfairness, became unbearable. He stopped expecting anything from John. The father he needed would never return. He built walls instead, armor forged from disappointment, to protect himself from more hurt. Then came the day that changed everything. John Lennon's sudden violent death shook the world, but Julian's grief was quieter, heavier. He had spoken to his father days before, feeling a rare warmth, a hope for reconciliation that was ripped away in no funeral, no goodbye. Yoko Ono called for only a private remembrance, leaving Julian alone with memories and regrets. While the world mourned a legend, Julian mourned the father he never truly had. And then came the ultimate betrayal, the will. John left nearly everything to Yoko Ono and Sean, barely acknowledging Julian. Years of longing for his father's approval ended with a legal document confirming his worst fears. Yoko controlled the estate, the music, the legacy, while Julian received only a small trust fund. It wasn't about money, it was about being erased from his father's story. For Julian, the fight became about recognition, identity, and belonging. He waged a grueling legal battle, years of negotiations, sleepless nights, and relentless headlines. Many misunderstood him, calling him greedy, but he was reclaiming a piece of himself. The settlement may have been substantial, but it couldn't heal years of being sidelined. Meanwhile, another struggle played out, with Yoko, the gatekeeper of his father's memory. Public appearances were tense, filled with forced smiles and cold stares, a constant reminder of what he had lost. Over time, small moments chipped away at the bitterness. A photography exhibit, a chance encounter, keeping peace for Sean's sake. Slowly, the drama faded into a fragile truce. Julian chose to stop fighting, not for Yoko, but for his own sanity and for his brother. Though they grew up in different worlds, shared pain became a bond. As adults, Julian and Sean found common ground through music, memories, and understanding. Sean's kindness helped Julian see the cost of holding on to hate, and for the first time, he felt he truly belonged, not just to a name. Breaking free from the Lennon name wasn't easy. He faced constant comparisons to a legend he could never be. Music brought disappointment, but photography, writing, and personal projects gave him identity and purpose. He stopped chasing approval and started living for himself, letting the past inform him without defining him. He found peace, not by forgiving the past, but by creating a future on his own terms. He chose to honor his father's memory in his own way, through art, creativity, and quiet resilience. The Lennon name became a legacy he carried, not a prison he had to escape. Julian Lennon's journey is not a story of fairy tale forgiveness or instant healing. It's a story of pain, struggle, and eventually, acceptance. When he said, "I utterly hated her," those words carried the weight of years lost, opportunities missed, and a family torn apart by choices none of them could undo. Yet through it all, Julian found a fragile truce, a kind of peace that allowed him to move forward. His story exposes the hidden cost of fame, the myth of perfect families, and the strength it takes to carve out a life in the shadow of a giant. If you've ever wrestled with forgiveness or your own past, Julian's journey is a reminder. Healing is possible, even if it's never perfect. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, like, subscribe, and join. If you loved learning about the iconic stars of old Hollywood, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories, trivia, and all things vintage glam. Join the conversation in the comments below. Who's your favorite old Hollywood celebrity and why? Make sure to ring the bell so you never miss a new video on the golden era of cinema.